Let's jump right in. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating analysis by Haluk ÜNALDI. He does this incredible job of translating ancient military wisdom into modern corporate strategy. And you know what's crazy? It turns out the oldest tactics used out on the battlefield perfectly align with the daily battles you're fighting in today's corporate world. So, let's dive into it. Think about this for a second. How would a general from 400 BC run your company today? Now, I know it kind of sounds like the pitch for a Hollywood movie, but it's actually the entire core of our analysis here. Business, by its very definition, is continuous competition, right? You've got rivals, you have extremely limited resources, and you have territory that you need to conquer, usually in the form of market share. So in essence, the modern boardroom is virtually a mirror image of the ancient battlefield. And of course, that brings us to the man himself, Sun Tzu. He was a Chinese general operating over 2 millennia ago. Now, the beautiful irony here is that despite being a purely military man, he's widely considered to be the ultimate, most revered modern business strategist we have today. His principles? They fit the business world absolutely perfectly, like hand in glove. Okay, let's look at his first major maxim and see how this all builds. Sun Tzu said, "Win without fighting." It's a bold, super powerful statement. In strict military terms, engaging in a direct, bloody clash is just way too costly, even if you do end up winning. The ultimate mastery of war, according to Sun Tzu, is securing that victory before a single sword is ever drawn. So how does that translate to the modern boardroom? Well, while the military goal is to win without fighting, the corporate equivalent is capturing the market without destroying it. If you fight too aggressively, say going for a scorched earth tactic, even if you technically win that competitive war, you might just find that there's literally no market left to conquer. You've won an empty prize. Take a look at this. Dropping your sales prices just to win market share? That's an obsolete tactic. Honestly, it's a relic of the past. As we can see with these shrinking slices of the market, engaging in a price war just destroys the exact prize you're fighting for in the first place. Today, you've got hundreds of competitors in every single sector. If you decide, hey, I'm going to start a price war, a multitude of rivals will immediately step up and join you in what ÜNALDI aptly describes as mutual suicide. Trust me, there are absolutely no winners here. Right, moving along to the second bold maxim from Sun Tzu. Avoid the enemy's strong points, attack their weaknesses. Now, on a physical battlefield, that makes perfect logical sense, doesn't it? You wouldn't charge headfirst into a fortified wall, you'd scout around and look for the unguarded back gate. But how exactly does this translate to a modern corporation? Well, instead of attacking a physical weakness, modern businesses attack rivals in an unexpected market at a completely unexpected time. The massive difference here is the speed of escalation. Think about it. Military campaigns, especially historically, take months to prepare, and they're highly visible. You can physically see an army marching. But in the corporate world, the escalation time is practically non-existent. A corporate campaign is never, ever announced before it is fully ready to deploy. Which actually leads us perfectly to a scenario we'd like to call the breakfast blindsiding. Imagine this. You're an executive. You sit down, pour yourself a nice cup of coffee, open the morning newspaper or check your feed, and boom, you are completely blindsided. You read that your biggest rival has just launched a market-disrupting strategy that literally turns your entire industry upside down overnight. The element of surprise is absolute. This vivid reality really underscores why waiting for an attack is a fatal flaw, and why knowing what's coming is basically your only real defense. And that brings us to our third principle: deceive and use information effectively. You see, information isn't just power. On the battlefield, it is quite literally survival. Sun Tzu knew way back then that deception and intelligence gathering were the bedrock of any successful campaign. If you don't know what's happening, you're already losing. Translating this kind of intelligence gathering into commerce means knowing every single market detail so you can constantly surprise your rivals. Today, things like environmental and competitor analyses, they aren't just optional tools for the overachievers anymore. They are the fundamental radar systems of any surviving company. It really proves just how essential this ancient rule still is. It's actually fascinating when you look at how modern businesses are literally mirroring military structures to do this. Where armies have highly specialized intelligence officers, corporations are now building these dedicated systematic competitor tracking departments. Companies are actively funding specialized units for the sole purpose of anticipating their rivals' probable strategies. So, the modern corporate analyst, They are quite literally the ancient intelligence officer. It's the same exact job, just a different uniform. Okay, let's shift gears and focus on speed with our fourth principle: prepare well and be fast. The battlefield is incredibly dynamic. Conditions change in the blink of an eye, and honestly, hesitation gets you killed. In war and in business, agility is absolutely everything. For us today, speed means one very specific thing: continuous innovation. We all know the harsh truth here. Surviving in today's business world without rapid, periodic innovation is basically impossible. If you think you can just stand still, you're already falling behind. Speed isn't just about shipping products quickly anymore. It's about moving ideas quickly. But hold on, what do we actually mean when we throw around the word innovation? Well, it's not just locking your team in a room for a brainstorming session with a bunch of sticky notes. According to the analysis, it is specifically about bringing the creative ideas of employees to life commercially. And because of this absolute dire necessity for speed, executing this has become the single most popular management tool globally right now. All right, moving right along, let's dive into the fifth strategic maxim: shape your opponent. This is all about controlling the battlefield. It's about dictating the terms of engagement so that the enemy is constantly reacting to you, rather than the other way around. You want to be the one setting the tempo. So in practice, shaping your opponent means choosing the appropriate market and rival. Finding an environment with little to no competition isn't just getting lucky. It is a massive strategic success in its own right. Think of it as creating a blue ocean. You shape your opponent by simply choosing to play on a field where they don't even exist yet. You win by playing a game they aren't even invited to. Our sixth principle is wonderfully simple yet absolutely crucial: be a leader. Now, this is the one rule that requires absolutely no translation whatsoever. Whether you are leading a battalion in a muddy trench or a board of directors in a high-rise, the core essence of leadership remains completely unchanged. But we do need to take a second to break down the distinct difference between management and leadership here, because they are not the same thing. Managers do things right. They focus on the process, the efficiency, keeping the gears turning smoothly. Leaders, on the other hand, do the right things. They're the ones who climb the mountain to identify the good work that will actually carry a company toward its ultimate vision. Getting close to the end here, let's look at the seventh principle. This really serves as the ultimate goal of any entity: make yourself impossible to defeat. It's an intimidating standard, for sure. I mean, how do you actually become truly invincible? Well, invincibility in the business reality translates to holding a continuous competitive advantage. Let's be real for a second. In today's incredibly saturated landscape, just grasping an advantage once is exceptionally difficult. But holding on to it, maintaining that lead over time, that is the true fight for survival. And according to Sun Tzu, it's the only real path to corporate invincibility. And that brings us to our final principle. This one beautifully loops back to bring the entire philosophy full circle. Seek ways to defeat the enemy without fighting. We started this explainer with winning without fighting, and we conclude with surviving by defeating the enemy without a direct clash. It's brilliant. So, how do you actually pull that off in business? You do it by focusing on two key differentiators: the product itself and the after-sales service. By constantly creating unique value in what you sell and exactly how you support your customers afterwards, you achieve continuous profitability without ever engaging in a bloody, exhausting fight. You simply step outside the battle entirely. As we wrap up, I really want you to focus on this ultimate takeaway from Haluk ÜNALDI's analysis. Business problems find their most profound solutions in military strategies. The bridge between ancient military tactics and modern commercial success isn't just some clever metaphor. It is a practical, actionable blueprint for survival and growth in the corporate world. So, I'm going to leave you with a final, somewhat provocative thought. Are you fighting a war of attrition, slowly draining your resources and petty price wars and blind competition? Or are you applying these ancient lessons to truly command the boardroom? Take a hard look at your own competitive strategies this week. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep leading from the front.